Is your Google Ads campaign getting clicks and impressions but no conversions? In this video, I'm going to run you through a simple 5-step checklist on how you can fix these problems. This video is specifically for lead generation, so service businesses that want to generate high quality leads like tradesmen, lawyers, contractors, accountants, that sort of thing. If you run shopping campaigns, some of these steps will apply to you, but this video is mostly for service business owners. My name's Adrian Harrison and I help service business owners get more customers and clients using Google Ads. Step 1 is we're going to check your other traffic channels and also check your Google Ads tracking to make sure that's working. So what we want to do by checking our other traffic channels is we're looking to see, is this problem just Google Ads or is it your other traffic channels as well? To do that, we'll jump over to Google Analytics. Here we are in Google Analytics 4, where I'll show you how to check if it's just Google Ads or whether it's all your traffic sources that are causing the problem. So we come over to Reports, User Acquisition. What I like to do is compare time periods. So really I'm looking, is this a problem recently or is it an ongoing issue? If it's just a recent problem, just select the time period that makes sense and we're going to say compare. So that'll compare this last 28 days to the 28 days previously. Once that loads, you've got your traffic sources on the left here: direct, organic, paid search, which is going to be Meta ads, Google ads, all that sort of thing. What we're looking for here is we're looking at the different events here. So in this case, this all events is contact form, submit, email clicks. That's fine for this one. But if you want to drill down into one or the other, you can choose one. So we're looking at the number of conversions that we're getting. So we're looking at the most recent month and the month before. So we can see that they're similar. We can see that these organic ones are similar and these paid ones were similar. So if you were to notice that you're getting conversions on your other traffic sources but not Google Ads, then it's likely a paid ad issue. Or if you notice that this month you're getting no conversions for any sources and were getting them previously, then there could be something wrong with your website and you'll want to go and investigate that. The next thing we're going to do is check that your conversion tracking is working. So you want to go to tagassistant.google and add domain, and then we're going to add your website's domain in here and we're going to hit connect. Now what this does is this is going to check that the tag on your website is actually firing, so the Google Ads conversion code is actually working. Once you've connected it, head over to your landing page and fill out the form. And once the form is submitted, then we can check our tag assistant. So we want to come back over to here, over to our other window. Down the bottom here, we can see which codes actually fired when that thank you page came up. And we're looking for the conversion for your thank you page for Google Ads. So I've found it here. There's one right here, Google Ads contact form submit. Now the text that comes up here is going to be dependent on how you actually set up your conversions and what you actually named it. You also want to be checking that you've set up conversions in your Google Ads account. So we'll come over to goals and this will bring up all the conversions that you've got set up. So we want to be making sure that the status here is active and not saying something like misconfigured, because these ones are likely not working. So we can see the names of the different conversions here: submit lead form, phone call lead, contact. Now, as a minimum, you should have submit lead form or something similar. The language or the text might not say exactly that, but we want the similar meaning, and you'll also want to be tracking your phone calls as well. When you do check this, it's a good idea just to check in the last 14 days, say, and once that's loaded, then we can open it and we'll make sure that we're actually getting conversions. So we've got 6 conversions showing here. You can see this one's been deleted. This is an old action here. And we'll check the phone number as well. So we'll open that up and we can see that we're getting phone calls from website. There's 2 there. Call only ads, there's been none there, no recent conversions. We've checked you're getting conversions from other traffic sources and that's working, and the problem isn't just Google Ads. We've checked that your Google Ads tracking is actually working. So the next step, if there's nothing wrong there, is that we're going to start going through testing your funnel, testing the ads, the landing pages and the campaign settings, and making sure everything is working correctly there. So we'll hop back over to Google Ads. We're going to go to our ads and we're going to check every single one of them and make sure the landing page is correct. So if you click on here, go through, click all of these, and what we're going to do is check that their page is loading correctly. You've got the right phone number, the contact form is loading, And it's ideal that you check it on mobile device as well as your desktop to make sure both of them are working. I'd also be filling out the contact form for each of your pages and making sure it's working, and actually that you are actually getting the emails and that you're going to the thank you page. Next, we're going to go through the campaign settings and the targeting, make sure everything's correct there. If it's a new campaign, we want to make sure our bid strategy is correct, and we want to be using maximize clicks. Over here, we've got maximize conversions, which is fine because there are lots of conversions in this campaign. But to change that and to check that, we can come into our settings here, bidding, and you can hit change bid strategy, and you'll get the option here. So when we first start, make sure it's on maximize clicks. Once you've got 15, 20 different conversions, then we can move over to conversions. And then once you've got a lot more conversions, then we can move over to setting a target cost per conversion. And while we're in settings, we'll check that the network is correct. We want to make sure that this one is not ticked. We want to untick include search partners. We want to make sure display network is off unless you're specifically running that type of campaign. But for most search campaigns or for most lead generation, you want to have these two off. Make sure your budget is decent too. If you're running a campaign and clicks are costing $10 each and you've only got a $10 budget, $10 per day, then you're not going to get many clicks, and that's just not enough to be getting conversion. You need to set your budget about 10 times what the average click cost is, so you're getting about 10 clicks a day. Next, we want to check our locations. Come over down here and advanced search. You want to check that your service area or the area that you actually cover is selected here. You don't want to be showing ads to the whole world or other regions in your country that you don't service, because you're definitely not going to get any conversions if you do that. Next, we're going to check our ad schedule. So come over to campaigns, come down to ad schedule here. Make sure you've got a campaign selected up the top here and come down and have a look at your ad schedule. Now you want to be making sure that your ads are showing during times that people are actually searching for your service. So generally for service businesses, they're not searching at 3 in the morning or 2 in the morning or something like that. I generally tend to run them somewhere between 6 or 7 in the morning till maybe 10 or 11 at night, depending on what the service is. So you can see that we've got an ad schedule set up here, and we can adjust it by hitting this one and changing it to what we want it to be. Next, we'll check our audience settings. You can do that by selecting your campaign up here, come down here to audiences, and then we're going to edit audience segments here. So we'll do campaign. What you want to do is just make sure this is in observation mode and not targeting. Targeting is going to limit it to a very small amount of people. Observation mode won't limit it. Also want to check that our demographics isn't limited. So you can see that we're targeting everything here. If your business doesn't serve a certain age group, it's okay to deselect and save that and not target those, but just make sure you haven't limited it to something really small. Now we know that our traffic, all the other sources of traffic are working. Our Google Ads tracking, conversion tracking is working. We've checked our ads are working. We've checked our landing pages, and we've also gone through the campaign settings. Step number 3 is to audit your keywords and just check that you're targeting the right keywords and that you have negative keywords in place. To do that, come over to Google Ads, choose a campaign, and come down to your keywords here. And you want to be reviewing your keywords and making sure there's some search intent. We don't want to be using broad words like plumber. That's just going to be way too broad. That could mean anything. It could mean plumbing jobs. It could mean plumbing tools. You want to be using something like plumber and your location. So plumber, Sydney. That's going to be a far better keyword, or plumber near me. And whilst you're here, you can run a search term report. Make sure the date is relevant and that you've got enough days selected. So maybe the last 30 days or the last 2 weeks or something. Check on the keywords that you want and search terms. This will bring up a list of all the search terms that were typed into Google when that triggered your ad. Go through the list here, just make sure that nothing completely irrelevant is coming up for your service. So if you're a plumber and something like plumbing tools are coming up, then you want to make sure that we add a negative keyword. Same with things like plumbing jobs, DIY. You don't want any of those sort of search terms come up. So you want to make sure you have negative keywords in place to stop those sort of searches coming up. And that'll make sure that you only get focused searches, people actually looking to buy your service. Now we've checked that the problem just wasn't Google Ads. We've checked the conversions. We've gone through our funnel. So we've been testing the ads. We've looked at the landing pages and we've checked the campaign settings. We've checked our keywords are good. And now the next thing that we need to do is step 4 here, and we're going to check the landing pages and the flow and make sure that the user journey and the intent is correct. When you're running any marketing campaign, it's really important to make sure that there's message alignment. And what I mean by that is if you have a keyword, blocked drain repair Sydney, you want your ads to also talk about repairing blocked drains. So for example, block drain repair Sydney, 24-hour emergency service, call now. And you also want your landing page to be focused around that. So the landing page should be something like emergency block drain repair Sydney. And you have the phone number and you have a little bit of copy about how you can be on site quickly. And that would make a good landing page. So here's an example. So if we're fixing blocked drains, if we're advertising for that, very clearly on the page, we fix blocked drains. We've got how they can get a quote. We've got the phone number, same day emergency service, $0 call out fee. So all of these sort of things help to tell people they're in the right place and this is exactly what they're looking for. So on the other hand, if we had misalignment, we might have the keyword, same keyword, block drain repair Sydney. But if the ad copy then said pro plumbing services, repairs, bathrooms, drains, leaks, it might say block drains. It might say that in there. But you can see clearly that this message isn't as strong as this message and it's not going to resonate as much. In terms of the landing page, if you send them to your home page or just a general page about plumbing services and it's not drain focused, it then becomes a little bit unclear about whether you can actually help that person or not. And it's going to make it much more difficult to get the conversion or get them to contact you. After you've verified that your landing pages and the flow and the intent is consistent throughout your campaign, you really want to evaluate your offer and what you're putting out there to the market. Is it on par with the competitors? Is it better than what your competitors do? Or if you really be honest with yourself, is it not as good? If it's not as good and it's not comparable to what other people are offering, you need to really lift your game and look at how you can make your offer as good or better than theirs to make sure that you are getting those conversions. If you follow this process from start to finish, you should be having conversions in your Google Ads campaign. If you want to know how to set up your Google Ads campaign for your service business, download my 150-page Google Ads guide designed for service business owners. It runs through all the exact settings that you need to use to ensure your campaign is profitable. And if your service business needs help, needs more leads, or you've got an existing Google Ads account that isn't working properly, you can book a call with me. Both of the links are in the description below. Cheers.